now. The Rams trying to stay warm. They won the toss. They have deferred. Greg Zuerlein will kick off. Rams have great special teams. Anthony Miller is back to receive for the Chicago Bears as he dances around on this cold night. And what a matchup for Sunday Night Football, a game that we have flexed into. Bears 8-4, Rams best record in the league, trying to hold on to that #1 spot. If they win out, the road to the Super Bowl would go through Los Angeles in the NFC. Bouncing ball, Miller will scoop it up from the 2-yard line and brings it back out to the 23-yard line, tackled by Blake Countess. And take a look right now at the Chicago offense.
Mitchell Trubisky, North Carolina.
Jordan Howard, Indiana University.
Allen Robinson, the Penn State University.
Taylor Gabriel, Abilene Christian.
Anthony Miller, the University of Memphis.
Trey Burton, the University of Florida.
Charles Leno Jr., Boise State.
James Daniels, Warren G. Harding High School.
Cody Whitehair, Kansas State.
Brian Witzman, South Dakota State.
Bobby Massey, Ole Miss.
So Trubisky back after missing the last 2 games. Chase Daniel took over for him. 1 win, 1 loss. Jordan Howard's the running back. The fake to him. Trubisky looking downfield, and there he goes. Slides to a stop close to a first down. I mentioned the second leading rusher on the team, over 350 yards rushing this season, and he starts here with a good gain of 9, 2nd and 1.
Well, the game plan tonight, stop one guy right there, Aaron Donald, number 99. And they've got the double team early, and that answered my first question, which is, would Mitch Trubisky be willing to run? And it's such a huge part of what he does great at the quarterback position. It's a good sign for Bears fans.
2nd and 1 as he takes this snap out of the gun. Howard flanks him in the backfield. And Howard will pick up the game's initial first down. Trubisky, the #2 pick in the draft overall last year. His numbers this season, 20 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. That rating is a little higher than the league average. And Matt Nagy, who was in Kansas City and Philadelphia before that, 10 years with Andy Reid, taking over for John Fox this season. Tariq Cohen is in the backfield. He splits out wide to the right now. They go right to him. And the normally explosive Cohen cannot get free. John Johnson makes the stop. And let's take a look at the LA defense.
Ndamukong Suh, Nebraska.
Aaron Donald, Pittsburgh.
Namaka Ebukum, Eastern Washington.
Corey Littleton, Washington.
Mark Barron, Alabama.
Dante Fowler Jr., Florida.
Marcus Peters, West Oakland, California.
John Johnson, Boston College.
LaMarcus Joyner, Florida State.
Aqib Talib, Kansas.
Nikhil Roby-Coleman, USC.
It was Ebukum had those 2 defensive touchdowns in that crazy Ram Chiefs game about 3 weeks ago. Trubisky, good protection, shoots it to Jordan Howard. Good tackle right there in the open field by LaMarcus Joyner, who wears the franchise tag. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, one of the new additions, Dante Fowler, came over from Jacksonville, and he really has added a bit of an outside pass rushing presence for this football team. Of course, so much of the attention inside, talking about Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh. They can get so much pressure in there that anybody on the outside could make a huge difference during this playoff run.
Played well since the deal with the Jaguars. 3rd down and 11. Trubisky in the pocket, escaping. There he goes again. A first down to the 49-yard line. Evo can't put the heat on, but he got away. And so already tonight, Trubisky has rushed for 22 yards on 2 carries.
Not a big blitz team, the Rams aren't, but this time they do bring the pressure, trying to play some man coverage on the back end. The problem with man coverage, if you do it and the quarterback escapes, nothing there. And of course, Aaron Donald, as we will be saying all night long, gets the double team. And really, the Bears like the rookie, James Daniels, number 69, think they give him the best chance against Donald.
Back to the ground, big hole there. Flag is thrown, our first of the game. But would have been about a 7-yard pickup for Howard through the middle. Craig Rolstad is tonight's ref. We'll hear from him for the first time. Bears are backing up, so it will be against Chicago.
Illegal shift. Offense. Number 17 and 46, both moving at the same time. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
1st and 15. Burton and Miller moving simultaneously. There he is, the youngest coach in the league. 32, got the job before his 31st birthday, 2nd year as the head coach, Sean McVay. And every team in the league who needs a new coach is looking for the next Sean McVay, believe me. Go find him. From the 42-yard line, 1st and 15. Trubisky fires over the middle, and it's incomplete. Anthony Miller was there. And it's 2nd down and 15. We're talking to Coach Nagy the other day, Chris, about scripting like a lot of coaches do his first 15 plays.
Yeah, they do. And the Chicago Bears, and in particular Mitchell Trubisky, his best numbers come in the first quarter. And so I asked the question, why don't you script the other series as you get later in the game? And he says, we do that a little bit. Fortunately, that guy right there, Wade Phillips, has got his own script of how it's going. And really, it's just been 2 Trubisky runs so far, the only sign of offense.
Phillips, the defensive coordinator. They go 5 wide here. Deep downfield. That's going to be intercepted at the 37-yard line. And blocking out in front. And that is Peters. Marcus Peters down the sideline. Is he out of bounds? Yes, finally, but it looks to be inside the 20-yard line. And there's a flag down on the field at the end of the play. So Marcus Peters, who came over from Kansas City in a trade, ends that Chicago drive with an interception.
On the play. Number 10 was trying to make the tackle when he went low. First down, Los Angeles.
All right, pick up the flag. Rams will have the ball deep in Chicago territory.
Well, Marcus Peters, ever since they started playing him more in zone coverage, it's been a huge difference. This is just a severe overthrow here. It really wasn't that difficult to throw. Maybe Littleton underneath there. But Peters had been burned a lot early in the year, and he was one of those, they traded for him, paid him some money, you know, all those sorts of things. A real history of interceptions. They changed how they played him, and now much, much better.
22nd interception of Peters' career, and the first Rams offensive play stuffed at the line of scrimmage as Peters takes a seat on the bench along with Aqib Talib. Gurley leading the league in rushing, and his first tote here is for 1 yard.
Well, that's tough. You know, you come out and you're thinking your shoulder's going to be fine, and you run it a couple times, and then you sail the first one. We did watch him in practice, and he looked good. Made throws going to his left, but that was not a good start.
That Peters' return was good for 48 yards. Jared Goff. Quick snap. Fires over the middle. That's caught inside the 10-yard line. That's Brandon Cooks with his 3rd team in 3 years. New Orleans, New England, and now Los Angeles having a great year. 3rd down and 4.
One thing you're going to notice about the Rams is how many times they use multiple people in protection. Even their star running back, Todd Gurley, out there on Khalil Mack. Just like they don't want to let Aaron Donald get going on the Bears side. Same is true of Khalil Mack.
3rd down and 4. 3 receivers set to the left side. Play clock at 1. Goff under pressure, and he gets it away. Khalil Mack forced the issue. What else is new? And he was outside the pocket, so there's no grounding. It's 4th down.
Well, you know you want to try and get a chip, so does Mack. He's going to loop back inside of Rob Havenstein and just beats him so cleanly. No choice whatsoever for Goff. That is a heck of an inside move, and he has been amazing this year.
Greg Zuerlein, one of the best, had a groin injury earlier in the season that cost him a handful of games, but he's been back on target since his return. 27-yard attempt to try to get the Rams on the scoreboard, which he will do. Right down the middle. 9-12 remains in the first quarter as the Rams draw first blood at Soldier Field. Rams trying to clinch that first round bye so they wouldn't have to play in the wild card round. Last year they got a home game against Atlanta but lost to the Falcons. Anthony Miller drops back deep. Zuerlein to send it skyward. Middle of the field and take a knee in the end zone. Talking about Trubisky and Nagy scripting those first 15 plays and how much success he has had early on in the first quarter. TD interception ratio 5-1. The passer rating is excellent, but tonight he begins after that interception. He takes a look at the other 3 quarters when his passer rating goes way down. So the question tonight is, he starts slow, can he finish quicker?
We'll find out.
Yes, we will. Find out a lot of things tonight, especially about the Chicago Bears. From the 25, Jordan Howard is the running back. To the outside he goes and then cuts it back for a gain of 3. Before he is gang tackled, it'll be second down.
You know, it really is amazing when you're talking about the talent on this Rams team and you hit all the marquee guys. But to have Ndamukong Suh at playing nose tackle, almost an afterthought inside because of all the things that Aaron Donald has done. Pretty amazing.
Second down and 6. Rolling to his right, firing, and that pass incomplete. Taylor Gabriel was there, but he can't connect with him, and it's third down and 6.
Well, the Bears defense did a fantastic job getting off the field after that last interception. Let's take a look at this motion, see if we see anything a little awkward. Kind of hard to tell because he's rolling to his right. I did see him in practice make a good strong throw rolling to his left, which is usually the tougher throw, so I don't think there's an issue. A little colder out here, though.
Threw that one behind Gabriel. Go 5 wide on the 3rd and 6. Put pressure on, and the pass is complete, and that will be a first down. Taylor Gabriel makes the catch. Peters with the tackle, moves the chains.
One thing the Rams will do throughout the course of the season is they will rush 5, and the reason they do that is they want every offensive lineman to be one-on-one against their pass rushers. That time, the Bears up to the challenge.
So Trubisky has started 3 of 6 through the air, but for only 7 yards.
Bears come snapping out. Look like the Rams.
Tariq Cohen carries around the left side. I'll tell you what, he had some game last week in New York. Great player, can run, great pass catcher, can protect well enough. Certainly a Pro Bowl candidate, and the Bears could use a few. The Bears and the Jets last year were the only teams in the league that did not send a guy to the Pro Bowl. That'll change this year.
Yeah, and for Cohen, he gives them those cheap yards, you know, where you can just dump the ball down in the flat and he can make a couple of people miss and keep these chains moving, because the Bears can struggle on offense some.
Great return guy, Howard. Flag is thrown. Greg Rolstad after checking with the
personal
umpire.
foul, chop block, offense, number 15. 15-yard penalty, replay, second down.
That's Josh Miller. I'm sorry, Josh Bellamy, who would be their number 4 receiver.
Yeah, he's going to come across the formation here, and you'll see while engaged with Massey, the wide receiver, Bellamy is going to chop down Aaron Donald, and he gets it from a lot of different angles, and that is obviously a foul. Probably just not used to doing that, probably doesn't fully understand the rules inside.
So that makes it second down and 21 from the 26-yard line. Trubisky fires over the middle, and that's caught out past the 40-yard line by Trey Burton. He of Super Bowl fame, the Phillies special last year, came over in the offseason to Chicago.
Yeah, Trey Burton hasn't been a whole lot of a factor here lately, and yet he comes out early in this one and makes a play. He's probably their most consistent weapon, along with Tariq Cohen, and yet for whatever reason, the first half of the year he was on fire and just sort of has settled back out of that here lately.
Gain of 17 to make it third down and 4. It's Cohen in motion to the inside. Trubisky rolls, throws, finds his man for a first down. So from 2nd and 21, they move the chains. Talib covers on the play, first down.
Aren't many running backs in the league that you're willing to leave them one-on-one against a first-rate cornerback like Aqib Talib. Just on the outside, sneak him out there. And if there's a concern at all with the Chicago Bears, is they rely so much on Tariq Cohen. Said it's amazing how quickly that young man can process things. They can just throw something at him during the game. He can pick it right up, do exactly what they want.
Wade Phillips has to figure out a way to stop him tonight. Going in Rams territory at the 49-yard line. Trubisky keeps and gets tackled at the line of scrimmage. The safety, LaMarcus Joyner, comes up to make the tackle. Trubisky this year averaging rushing 36 yards per game.
Yeah, I wasn't sure we'd see these intentional runs here. You're going to get the read option, and just reading this guy as he comes up, Trubisky's just going to take it out there. Now, there was discussion that maybe if they do that, they would have some sort of a lead blocker in front or a pass option off of it or a pitch option. But I think after those first 2 runs, they opened up the rest of the playbook.
2nd down and 9. Jared Goff is opposite number. Goff the number 1 pick in his draft. Trubisky number 2 in his draft 2 years ago. Cohen off to the races. Tariq Cohen pushed out of bounds at about the 15-yard line by Joyner. Gain of 32 yards. And the Bears in business.
Make these kinds of plays go, you have to have good down blocks. And once you get that, the center can pull out and around, and really nobody there for the Rams on the defensive side. And now I think if you're going to beat this football team, this is the formula. You come out, you run the football, you be patient, you milk the clock, you frustrate their offense, but you can run the ball on this Rams team.
Even if it's Trubisky.
Yeah.
Holding right, fires at the feet, incomplete. The intended receiver, Shaheen. 2nd down and 10.
It was interesting talking with Trubisky a little bit, and of course we all know what social media is about, but there were a lot of people that thought he should have played in that Giants game last week. They were giving him a hard time, but he knew, and the staff knew, just how valuable he was long-term to this franchise, and they were not going to take that chance.
One of the reasons that Trubisky at the beginning of the season says, I'm off social media.
Yeah.
Period. From the 16-yard line. Cohen. Like a video game. But he starts to stumble. Then down he goes at the 11-yard line. He can change direction as well as anybody in the league. 3rd down, 3rd and 5.
Well, it is frustrating because you see on those sort of outside zone looking plays, the responsibility of the defensive line is to move with them. So they're all sprinting that way. And then here comes this guy back across the field. This time he kind of got the grass monster got him on that one. Now we go to 3rd down, and I think that now you go from Tariq Cohen, the runner, to Tariq Cohen, the receiver. He would be threat 1 for me, along with Trey Burton.
This is the 11th play of the drive. 5 runs, 5 passes. 4-man rush. Trubisky under pressure. Starts to get away and then can't. It was Fowler who got there first. Fowler creates the issue, and John Franklin Myers comes in to clean up, and it's 4th down.
Well, that was clever that time by Dante Fowler, working against Bobby Massey. Watch Fowler come up and under, goes right underneath the hands of Massey, up, down, and runs right past him to get the initial pressure there on Trubisky.
Cody Parkey had that horrible day against Detroit, hit the upright 4 times, has settled down since. Tries to tie the game with a 39-yard field goal, and he does. 2:48 left in the opening quarter. Rams and Bears, 3-3. And this is returnable. This is JoJo Natson. And a swing to the left and trying to get around the corner and gets bumped out of bounds, shoved out of bounds, almost into the heater at the 26-yard line by Benny Cunningham as we take a look at the Rams offense.
Jared Goff, Cal.
Todd Gurley, Georgia.
Brandon Cooks, Oregon State.
Robert Woods, USC. Joshua Reynolds, Texas A&M.
Tyler Higbee, Western Kentucky.
Andrew Whitworth, LSU.
Roger Saffold, Indiana University.
John Sullivan, Notre Dame.
Austin Blythe, Iowa.
Rob Havenstein, Wisconsin.
Blythe, kind of an unsung guy in that offensive line, third-year guy. Pick him up on waivers from Indianapolis. Rams offense scoring the first quarter each of the last 15 regular season road games. Ties a streak. The record held by the Namath Jets is Gurley. Takes it for about 9.5. See where they spot it. Todd Gurley leading the league in rushing.
And this is the bread and butter play. This is the stretch zone, and then he can do whatever he wants to off of that. We'll talk about that all night long. You don't stop that play, no way you beat the Rams.
Play fake. Goff fires to the right side, and it's incomplete. And it was Kyle Fuller diving for it. Leonard Floyd put the pressure on Goff, and it's 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, that was some move that time by Leonard Floyd. He was a little inside jump move and got right to the quarterback. And when Leonard Floyd can balance the pass rush, watch this inside move by Floyd right inside Havenstein and almost created a turnover there. Nobody creates more turnovers than this defense, 30 on the year. They have also scored 6 touchdowns on the defensive side.
21 by interception, 9 on fumbles. It's 3rd down and 1. And that play clock with a flag thrown, and the Rams did call timeout. They just got the timeout called. 3rd and 1 when we come back. Meanwhile, that timeout was called. You'll see it right here. There's McVay looking at the play clock, realizes they can't get it off, calls the timeout. So now 3rd and 1 from the 35-yard line. Gurley puts his head down, picks up that hard yard, and it's a 1st down. Akeem Hicks makes the tackle. Rams' first down of the game.
Very difficult to get these 3 and outs against this team. Just 12 times 3 and out all season. Now they snap to the line of scrimmage as they do after 1st downs.
They love to control the tempo. They can come up in a hurry, but let the play clock go all the way down. Plenty of time to look over the defense, even get into a little sidebar.
And McVay can be in Goff's ear this entire time until 15 seconds on the shot clock.
They went right to the line, but they take the play clock all the way down as Goff retreats, fires over the middle into traffic, and reaching down for it, Robert Woods, who makes the catch close to a 1st down.
Well, they had success on 1st down, throwing it with Gurley. Now they come with the play action off of that same look and hit the hook in behind it. That is the style of this offense. And then you will see the bootleg off of that. And you will see all their offense basically kind of look the same. It's all going to look like that initial outside zone, and then all the action starts to happen off of that play.
Kind of a throwback deal,
it is.
too.
A quarterback under center, who sees that in
right.
it?
Goff under center more than any quarterback in the league.
And these wide receivers block on the edge, too.
2nd and 1. Can he get out of the backfield? Gurley cannot. Loss of a yard, maybe 2. Bryce Callahan comes up for the stop. It'll be 3rd and a deuce. And meanwhile, down for the Rams is the center. That's John Sullivan. Well, they've got a good offensive line, but not much depth in the interior 5. So this would be big. Sullivan down for the injury timeout. Take a look here what happened to John Sullivan, who during the commercial break able to get up, and they're going to look at him in the medical tent, presumably for a concussion.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine unless you've ever experienced it, getting hit in the back of the head and what it does. It is very dangerous.
He has to come out for at least one play. You've got Brian Allen, a rookie from Michigan State, who has played a lot on special teams, but this is only his 8th offensive snap. And what Goff is going to do is let the clock run out to end the quarter to give Sullivan that much more time to presumably get ready and come back in. End of 1, 3-3. Sunday Night Football back after these messages. As we get set to start the second quarter, inside the Rams offense through week 13. 96% of the formations through 3 wideouts, 63% under center, which is about double the league average. Play action 37%, much higher than the league average. 10 players on the field for at least 75% of the snaps. They've stayed pretty much injury-free. Little look at the Rams offense, how they operate. Meanwhile, Sullivan is out of the tent, and they're going to take him back to the locker room. So Brian Allen will be the center. They think he's their guy for the future. And this is only his 8th snap of the season coming here. Goff fires over the middle, incomplete, intended for Robert Woods. And that'll make it 4th down and 2.
Adam, that was an open target right there. Robert Woods had leverage on the inside and just missed the throw. So cold weather, you can talk about anything you want, the California kid, whatever you want to describe it as. But really, there was nobody on the inside part of this coverage. Should have had it.
Johnny Hecker, been to 4 Pro Bowls. And a guy who's pretty good on fake punts as well.
Especially around this part of the field.
Good arm. Jump up, it's almost blocked. Leonard Floyd almost got it. And the kick will go out of bounds somewhere around the 20-yard line. So you've got 2 studs here. Khalil Mack, who came over in that trade with Oakland. You got Aaron Donald, Mack 5th overall in the 2014 draft. Donald was 13th. Khalil, the defensive player of the year 2 years ago. Aaron last year. And you can get a loan from each of these guys. Very low interest rate too. $141 million, 6 years for Mack. So Donald signed for $135. They got him into camp, and he was the highest paid player, defensive player in the league for one day. We're not throwing any charity events here. Trubisky to the outside, and that is caught by Gabriel, who gets up and picks up another 5 or 6 yards before he's tackled by Peters. 2nd down.
That was a great play there on the part of Gabriel to get up. But there is the pass rusher. He's extraordinary. We have literally seen him this year one-arm stab move and lift 320-pound offensive linemen in the air and throw them back at the quarterback. It's one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen.
Couldn't come to terms with the Raiders, and he's shifting here on the eve of the season as Howard takes the ball up to the 40-yard line and a Chicago 1st down. Sack comparison for these guys. Aaron Donald of the Rams since 2014, 55.5. Mack, 49.5. In the month of December, Mack would be first with 18 sacks. Donald second with 16, and the career sack comparison in the 4th quarter, 2nd and 3rd. First down from the 40-yard line. Handed off inside. Howard fighting his way for a 1st down. The guy who's gained over 1,000 yards in each of his first 2 seasons won't get there this year, but still he's their bread and butter guy on the ground, averaging 3.4 per carry.
Well, here's what happens. You block down and you've got this read option play going, and we've already seen Dante Fowler had to sit and wait on the quarterback Trubisky. Now you hand it off inside. And it's one of the underrated parts, I think, of this Bears team is the ability to play some power football with Jordan Howard in the backfield instead of Tariq Cohen.
Ball right on the 50. Trubisky coming this way, looking to throw downfield, and that's incomplete. Peters with the coverage on Trey Burton along the sideline. 2nd and 10.
Nice play by Nicole Roby-Coleman on the outside. Saw this quick screen to the right. Good job by Trubisky pulling it down because he was going to be in trouble. Got right around, would have been picked. And then it was just freelance time, and pretty good by Burton to turn up the field. Came close.
Bears have run 22 plays, and the Rams just 9. 117 yards for the Bears thus far, and only 25 for Los Angeles. Cohen back in there. 2nd and 10. Jordan Howard to the 45 as they had both running backs in the game. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Well, the one thing about the Rams is you're going to see those guys rush the passer. They play the run on the way to the quarterback. So what do? A lot of times you can work the run game inside of them as they're trying to get up the field. This is a team that, much like the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning, they're used to playing in shootouts, so they're constantly rushing the passer. If you can slow it down and run the ball on them, it really plays to your advantage. Big gap in there right now. That is really wide.
3rd and 5. Trubisky fires downfield. Tipped, and is it intercepted? No. Incomplete. John Johnson could not stop it. Couldn't get it from hitting the ground, and Trey Burton was the intended receiver. It'll be 4th down.
Let's take a look. Johnson, no, it's clearly going to be on the ground there, but that is the 2nd throw now from Trubisky from a set formation that he just missed high, and missing high is very dangerous in the NFL. Leads to a lot of interceptions.
Patrick O'Donnell is the punter. JoJo Natson back to accept it. And he's going to let it bounce, and it bounces into the end zone for a touchback. 11:45 left in the opening half in Chicago. 3-3 on Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoya. The game tied 3-3. 11:45 to the half. Robert Woods makes the catch, and that is broken up with a flag at the end of the play. Aaron Lynch, the linebacker, makes the tackle. Hear from Craig Rolstad in a moment.
Illegal block in the back. Number 12. It's a 10-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
It's Brandon Cooks, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Rams center John Sullivan went back to the locker room. He's being evaluated for a concussion. He is back there with the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. He's had 2 previous concussions back when he was with the Vikings in 2013 and 14. So this would be his 3rd if it comes out that it is a concussion, Al.
Michelle been around a long time, his 11th year, so he is supplanted, at least for the moment, by Brian Allen, the rookie out of Michigan State. Rams have dressed only 6 offense, make it 7 offensive linemen, so they're down to their final substitution if needed, as Goff fires over the middle, and it's intercepted at the 26-yard line. Roquan Smith, the rookie from Georgia, bounced out of bounds inside the 5. Pressure on Goff, low throw, and the Bears will have a 1st and goal after the pick.
Celebration there, but this is really a poor throw. We have seen some bad throws. Don't know if it's the weather, the cold, what it is. He kind of gets bumped, gets nowhere close to that, really not even under pressure. So the defense is starting to dominate. Almost looks like, did he step on Whitworth's foot coming down? Is that what made that ball flutter out of there like that?
Looks like it. First career interception for Smith, the rookie who was the last guy to sign from the draft class. 4-yard line. Trubisky on a 1st down and goal. Both Howard and Cohen in the game. They give it to Howard. Picks up a yard to the 3, and another penalty on the far side at the line of scrimmage.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 70 was on the end of the line. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
It's the right tackle, Bobby Massey.
Yeah, and it's really Allen Robinson's fault here. So when you've got a tackle right in there, you have to be down on the line of scrimmage. So that was his mistake and not Massey.
But of course, Massey gets his number called.
Yeah, he's a lineman. It's good. A little attention.
The only time these poor guys get recognized.
Holding.
Yep.
Stretch it out, though. This is a big moment in the game for the Bears. And they're going to call a timeout.
Yep. Take a timeout, first and goal from the 9-yard line. Boy, that Bear defense, I don't know, cold weather or whatever, 25 yards of offense. So the Rams come in, the high-flying Rams, and this was going to be the Rams offense against the Bear defense. That Bear defense looking pretty good to this point.
Yeah, we talked about whether or not the Rams were going to be able to run the football in this game because the Bears defense has been tremendous, right? The other thing that I've seen so far is that a lot of times sort of snapping out of the huddle for the Rams offense gets defenses off balance. Well, Vic Fangio and the Bears defense hasn't done anything. They haven't flinched. They've just lined up in their nickel defense. They're used to playing that. Really one of the most talented coaches in all the NFL right there. Vic Fangio has been doing a fantastic job.
32nd year as a coach in the NFL for Fangio. Back to the pick. He gets bumped.
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
I think that he really did step on Whitworth's foot.
All right, so first and goal now. Cohen swings to the short side of the field. No place to go. And another penalty.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 12. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
So that's Robinson. It's going to move him back to the 19-yard line. And there is Sullivan going over things with McVay.
And I'll bet you he's almost giving him a bit of a mental quiz here because the center is basically the quarterback of the offensive line. So as he goes through this, if that's a normal conversation, he probably says, okay, we'll get you back in there.
Yeah, good sign. Obviously, he's out of the locker room. They evaluated him back there. Back on the sideline for the moment from the 19-yard line. 4-man pressure. Caught at the 12-yard line. Caleb Gabriel to make it second down and goal.
Now, this is, you know, you don't get many opportunities, and the game is going your way. You make a huge defensive play, you get down to the 5-yard line, and you do nothing but go straight backwards. So a real opportunity for the Chicago Bears to put some pressure on the Rams to go outside of their comfort zone and how they want to play this game.
Now they line up with Burden and Mizell in the backfield. There's Trubisky. Retreats under pressure, fires incomplete, intended for Gabriel. Can't hit him again, third down and goal.
Now let's go back to the interception for just a moment here. And Jared Goff, watch Andrew Whitworth on the outside. Does he step on that foot or vice versa? Whitworth stepped on his foot and just completely threw off the throw. And that's exactly what happened. That ball came wobbling out. We haven't seen a throw like that out of Goff all year.
There's your evidence. Great shot of that as Howard now flanks out, brings him back into the backfield. Does Trubisky on a third down and goal. Trubisky dancing, throwing, action in the end zone and incomplete. Roby Coleman was able to break it up. Intended for Robinson there. Fourth down and goal.
Cole Roby Coleman's had a nice game so far. This is the guy who's really had the hot hand. He's going to run this little dig route inside. Roby Coleman all over it, comes in the backside of it and knocks that thing away. So a big stand. We talk about the Rams offense all the time, but so far it's been the defense when they needed it most.
31-yard attempt for Cody Parkey. And he's 2 for 2. Gives Chicago the lead. It's 6-3. Bears on Sunday Night Football. And that bounces into the end zone for a touchback. John Sullivan is back in the game. Good news for the Rams. Evaluated him for a concussion. So the veteran center played his college ball years ago at Notre Dame. Back in. Rams, nothing doing on offense so far. And now Goff tries to make something big happen, throws into double coverage. Is lucky it wasn't picked off. Brandon Cooks, the intended receiver, he almost turned into a defensive back as Amukamara nearly had the pick.
Well, communication's such a huge part of it for the Rams. McVay is going to get the play into Jared Goff. He has all the way down to the clock reached 15 to communicate with him. A lot of times they'll snap to the line of scrimmage, and you'll see McVay continue that conversation, trying to give him coverages or possible audibles.
2nd and 10. Goff throws, and that's almost intercepted. Wow. That's Smith who comes up with it, but it's incomplete. Amukamara was there. That's intended for Cooks. 3rd and 10. It's the shakiest start the Rams have been off to all year. In a couple of years.
It's one of the great things. Amukamara here is going to have the ability to really play this tightly on Cooks because he has deep help. So he's all over that because Amos is right behind him, and that was close. Almost saw our second pick.
3rd and 10. Flag is down, and that's caught, and then bumped back is Gerald Everett. Forward progress might end in the first, but it's all about the penalty now. Against the Rams.
Illegal shift. Offense. Number 12. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
3rd and 15. You know, the Rams come into the game averaging 6.5 yards per play, which is huge. Tonight, 2.1 yards per play.
Now, what is it, the 6th best in the history of the NFL and just the 3rd best this season?
Right.
Gives you some idea of the kind of offense. But in Chicago, they love their defense. They almost get more excited about defense in Chicago than they do offense.
Chiefs and the Chargers average a little bit more per play than the Rams, but they have been stymied tonight. 12 plays for 25 yards. It's 3rd and 15. Goff caught at the 24 by Gurley and Wells, short of the first down, and the punting group will come in again. Roy Robertson Harris with the pressure that time on Goff. 4th down.
Well, if you only rush 3 guys, that's not good news for Khalil Mack, number 52. 1, 2, 3. They're going to load up. You may beat him with somebody else, but you're not going to beat him with him.
Hecker's first punt was almost blocked. There's Cohen back to accept the kick. And Hecker, a fake, and it's going to be caught, and it's going to be a first down. Gerald Everett. Well, Hecker has done that a ton of times in his career.
Mark,
yeah, where's the spot? They marked it short with a naked eye. It looks like he had picked it up. The line judge comes in.
As the receiver is down by contact, short of the line to gain. First down.
Well, we'll take a look.
That knee is going to be the question. When did the knee go down?
Ooh, wow.
I mean, the ball is clearly across the line. If the knee, let's see. I think that's a first down.
Oh, I do too.
I thought it was at the time I saw it.
And so that falls under the
Los Angeles
challenge
category.
category.
On the field that the runner is down by contact, short of the line to gain.
So the Rams figure to win this. We'll get the official word when we come back.
After review, the runner did make the line to gain at the 35-yard line. It'll be first down and 10, Los Angeles. Timer, please reset the game clock to 8 minutes and 14 seconds. Los Angeles will not be charged with a timeout.
So a big gamble. You go back to 2012 when Hecker came to the Rams in St. Louis at that point, and John Fossil was the special teams coach. That's 21 times now they've executed a fake punt. They do it here from deep in their own territory, gives them a first down. And boy, Goff is way off to this point tonight. Intended for Woods. Goff tonight is 3 out of 10 for 22 yards.
Yeah, it looked like Danny Trevathan may have gotten a piece of that ball. He looked like he was in man coverage on Gurley. Little read blitz on him and able to bat it down.
Little under 8 to play in the opening half. Pressure on Goff, gets it away. That's caught on the run by Gurley, and Gurley will pick up the first down before he spins out of bounds. Gurley leading the league in rushing. I mean, he's just a tremendous player. Leads the league in scrimmage yards as well. Might have won the rushing title last year, had the lead going into the last game of the season, but the Rams had already secured a spot in the playoffs and it couldn't be moved up or down, so they left him out of the game. He only played 15, and that enabled Kareem Hunt of Kansas City to win the rushing title last season.
Yeah, no Malcolm Brown, his backup tonight, so it's going to be a lot of Gurley, not much rest.
Quick snap here. Goff slides away from the pressure, fires, caught inside the 40-yard line. That's Brandon Cooks coming back to make the catch and another first down.
And it all sort of starts with Todd Gurley. If they can get the running game going, then they're going to go play action off of it. Now you see him snap to the line of scrimmage, much like the Patriots do after a big first down. Again, communication coming in from McVay all the way down to 2 seconds ago.
Right. That communication snaps off at 15 seconds on the play clock. Straight drop. Little pump fake. And it's caught at the 37-yard line. Again, that is Cooks. I mean, you think about Brandon Cooks. He had Drew Brees, he had Tom Brady, and now he's got Jared Goff. That ain't a bad trifecta.
Yeah, and he doesn't have anybody within 10 yards of him, and now the guy that was guarding him, Mukamara, is down. Brandon Cooks, one of the faster players in the National Football League. Look how far off they play him, and really the only coverage at all was an outside linebacker dropping back there. So they're basically willing to give Cooks that kind of a throw underneath and not let him get over the top. But just hard to imagine those 1,000-yard receivers getting away from those two great teams.
This speaks to the narrative in Chicago, especially before the season. Jared Goff, Vic Trubisky. Goff, first overall pick in 16. Trubisky, second overall. Goff is rookie 0-7. And Trubisky was 4-8. Then in their second seasons with McVay coming to Los Angeles, 11-4. And you had the second season, 7-3 for Trubisky here. So a big difference with a new young coach and the quarterback, and Goff throws, and that is caught. And that will, or was going to be, a first down. Robert Woods, where they give him forward progress. It was second down and 5. Spotted at the 32, and that moves the chains.
But they're finally starting to get into their offense a little bit, which is that stretch run, bootleg, or play action off of that. Because what it does is it really protects your offensive line. As they're moving, the defense is moving with them, so you have the great pass rushers like Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack moving sideways, your quarterback going the other way, so it takes a lot of that pressure off the offensive line.
You've had 9 plays on this drive, all passes. And this is the first run, and Gurley tries to pull his way forward, no gain. So you have McVay coming in. Boy, it was a shocking move. The Rams elected to hire a guy who hadn't even turned 31 at that point, but an offensive guru, and he's turned out to be exactly that. On the other side, Nagy was a guy who worked for Andy Reid for a lot of years. Andy let him call plays at the end of last season. Gets hired here as Goff on a second down and 10 throws that nowhere. Be third down and 10.
Well, we've seen this Rams offense just look so incredible at times, and tonight they just look a little out of sorts. And you know, it's always the question, right? Does pitching beat hitting and all those sorts of things? And we saw the Dallas Cowboys do such a great job against the Saints offense, and now we're seeing the Bears do a little bit of the same thing against this Rams offense. Maybe defenses are coming back in the NFL.
Big second half comeback, second half of the season. Mukamara is back in the game. He's up on the line to press. And the pass comes out here to Robert Woods, and he will go nowhere. Tackled to the 32-yard line. Roquan Smith makes a stop, and Zuerlein and company come in to try to tie the game.
Roquan Smith can look like a tailback sometimes. Watch him step up and still fly out there to make this play. That's just fantastic linebacker play. We see him do that in coverage all the time. And he goes, yeah, that's why we drafted him.
50-yard attempt coming for Zuerlein. Johnny Hekker to do the holding. Got a whistle before, and a timeout taken by
second charge timeout.
The Bears.
Chicago. Just a 30-second timeout.
Bears with a win would maintain at least a game-and-a-half lead over Minnesota. The Vikings will play tomorrow night on Monday night at Seattle. Tough one there. Rams, of course, are thinking about not only that first-round bye, which they clinch with a win, but making sure the road to the Super Bowl goes through the Coliseum.
Yeah, and it's really tough to imagine, isn't it, that it's not going to either go through LA or New Orleans.
Right.
So you're not going to get your Rams team probably in any cold weather games that mean anything. Obviously the Super Bowl will be just fine too. So this is a sort of a one-off, but it's a good test to see what the Rams are all about.
Well, they'd rather play in LA. Obviously the one place they lost this season was at New Orleans. 50-yard attempt. And Zuerlein bangs that one through by plenty. Good from 57, and he needed it. We're tied 6-6, and we're back in 30 seconds. High above Soldier Field in Chicago. Bears, in the first part of their existence, played at Wrigley Field. At one point, more games have been played at Wrigley Field than any other venue, but been here over the decades now. Papa Bear, of course, George Halas, founding the team. He's been 40 years as their head coach in 4 10-year increments. Touchback. From the 25-yard line. Cohen to the outside. You know, we have two young, dynamic coaches. It's like, it reminds me when Mike Tomlin won the Super Bowl in Pittsburgh, and owners would say, or GMs, where do I find the next Mike Tomlin? That was a long time ago. Now they're going to go around and say, where do I find the next McVay? Where do I find the next Matt Nagy? You tell me where you find him.
I'm not sure about that, but good luck. But the one thing that both of them do is make the game fun. Like using Hicks on the goal line down there. And so now every defensive player on the team is volunteering to play some offense. And it just creates this atmosphere that sort of anything goes, like you're in the schoolyard or something.
They're lining up at his door. And it's caught, and the tackle is made there by Johnson on Burton. And they will spot the ball just a little bit short of the first down.
Yeah, that's what Nagy was telling us, is they all live for that knock on the door, that they goes into the defensive meeting room, knocks on the door, and that basically means, come with me, young man. We now have a play for you on offense, and they all go crazy.
In training camp, of course, you don't want the knock on the door.
No, that's the Turk. You want no part of that.
That means you're gone. Howard is the back. Give it to him. Across the line to gain, and a first down.
I'm really impressed with the Chicago Bears tonight. I just have to say that. This is the way, if you're going to beat the Rams, this is the way you beat them, because you're not seeing that enthusiastic flying off the ball pass rush that they're so good at, and there is a bad sign there. Bryce Callahan, who has been tremendous as their slot corner over the past couple of years now, and he's going off.
Back to the locker room he goes. Goff looks over plays on the tablet. And from the 37 on first down, a little swing pass out here to Allen Robinson. And the former Jaguars able to pick up 8 as we tick down to the 2-minute warning in the Windy City on this Sunday night. Rams 6, Bears 6. Second down and 2 at the 2-minute warning, and the pass is thrown behind Taylor Gabriel. So it's 3rd down and 2. Trubisky is now at 50%, 9 of 18 for only 59 yards.
Yeah, and those passes all seem so easy, but you don't have time to get your hands on the laces, and sometimes they just come squirting out. We've seen all kinds of quarterbacks. You can tell he really doesn't have a natural grip on the ball, and it just, on this cold night, the ball gets a little slick. You know, even though they're able to work the football now, it still gets slick in the cold.
28 degrees, but barely any wind. 3rd and 2. And a little bit short of the first down. Jordan Howard. Aaron Donald has been held in check tonight, in on very few tackles, but right there he provides the stop, and it's going to be 4th down. All right, what's Nagy going to do here?
Well, you're asking me, I'm going for it. Our defense is playing great. Now, he did say in some key situations this year he has punted the football because his defense has been so good they want to play to it, but I don't think that's the case here. I think you go for this.
Timeout taken by the Rams. Well, a look at Aaron Donald's night to this point.
Yeah, they've done okay. James Daniels, the rookie, has really done decent against them as long as he's had double team help with him, which he sees all the time. I mean, Aaron Donald, I think 9 of his 16.5 sacks have come against double teams, so he's used to seeing that. But now here comes the Bears and their punt team. And then here's the one that he made right there to get his defense off the field, a huge play, and now the Rams offense going to get back.
So they send the punt unit out. Now the other unit, the offense, is coming back out. They run out there, plenty of time on the play clock. Official stopping until everybody is set.
Sub, that gives the Rams a chance to sub if they want. And they're saying, why are you holding everything up? And the officials are basically saying, because now we're going to give them time to substitute. Nagy's out on the field going crazy.
Terry McCauley, our rules analyst. Terry, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, absolutely. In any punt situation, when there's a late substitution, you give the defense as much opportunity as they need to match up in a reasonable amount of time.
Because the official on the sideline was knocked down on the change of possession and was not in the position to officiate the play.
So he said the official on the near sideline was knocked down.
So as they changed and they all went running on the field, the official got knocked over. And so what happened is they called timeout to allow him to get back. There he goes. He's down.
Absolutely.
So now the officials have to let him get back on his feet. Carl Johnson used to be the head of the officials.
Right.
And he was the backside of that play.
Said it was smoother in the office on Park Avenue.
Not much.
That's the line of the night. Patrick O'Donnell into punt. Fair catch call for. Made at the 15-yard line by JoJo Natson. That's what it sounds like when you hear a boo from 57,000 fans collectively.
All right, the one thing that the Bears I thought could match up in this game, because they have this nickel defense that has played great all season long. Now Bryce Callahan is going to be out of the game. We'll see whether or not they try and go after his replacement here. Number 27, Sherrick McManus, will now take over that spot.
Minute 38, one timeout. This is Nagy telling Carl Johnson, that's on you. Meanwhile, Goff retreats, fires, caught up at the 28-yard line. Start with a first down here. Catch made by Josh Reynolds.
And here's what I don't like about this from the Bears standpoint. Now you're going to let that Rams offense go no huddle and sort of get into gear here a little bit before the half.
Blitz coming. Goff spins around to the left, and that is caught along the sideline by Robert Woods. And that's McManus, who they worked on, and makes the tackle here. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
Yeah, but from the Bears standpoint now, play action kind of goes out for the Rams. So now this is their opportunity to rush the passer. We'll see how Whitworth and Havenstein and Blythe and those guys can hold up. without the play action, having to block some of these guys. We haven't heard a whole lot from Akeem Hicks tonight either, and he has been fantastic this year.
2nd and 5.
Hicks lining up outside, and that's Leonard Floyd inside.
And play whistle dead, and they're going to call it against the Rams.
Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty still. 2nd out.
The veteran Andrew Whitworth, longtime Bengal, 13th year in the league.
Pro Bowl 4 times, and I think he was one of the real keys to the Rams turning everything around a season ago. Not only a great guy in the locker room, but a cornerstone's been a tremendous pass blocker for a long time in this league.
Made a huge difference. He and Sullivan, each older than their head coach. 192 career starts at 2nd down and 10. Throws, dropped. Robert Woods could not hold on. 3rd down and 10 again. Big pressure put on. Meanwhile, Leonard Floyd is hurt as he comes limping off the field. There he is.
That is not good news because Leonard Floyd has been fantastic. Here's Mack on the outside. He's been getting one-on-one opportunities against these tackles, pushing him back into Goff. Now let's take a look at Floyd. Tried to spin move there and sort of hyperextended with that step.
Aaron Lynch comes in for him. 3rd down and 10. That's incomplete. Pressure was put on again. Gurley, the intended receiver. Robertson, Harris, and Mack both put the pressure on. It's 4th down.
The screen game so big to Todd Gurley, and they had an opportunity there, but it was the pressure there by Roy Robertson Harris that made the difference. So once again, this Bears defense that has been tremendous tonight, just tremendous, makes another stand after they did have to punt. That's why they punt, because they have that kind of defense.
Hecker to punt. Cohen back at his own 25.
This is
line drive kick. Returnable. Tariq from the 18-yard line. Can he get around the corner? Yes, he can. Decent run back with 51 seconds. And it's Johnny Hecker who pushes him out of bounds. Rams 0, Bears D coming in. Rams 2nd in yards per game. Bears 4th. Rams 2nd in points. Bears 4th in points allowed. Passer rating. The Bears best in the league and the most takeaways in the league.
Yeah, if this is a decision, there's no question, right? I mean, we've said another half to go, but Bears defensively have definitely won the first half against this great offense.
Held the Rams to 92 yards.
Hey, Larry!
Bears have one timeout. Not getting out of the backfield that time was Tariq Cohen. And Dante Fowler came over from Jacksonville. Wrestles him down. So 2nd down and 10. Half a minute now remaining. One timeout. Trubisky is flushed out. Chased out. Fires. Incomplete, out of bounds. Robinson closest to it will be 3rd down and 10.
I don't think I've ever seen more attention paid to one player, especially an interior player, than Aaron Donald. I mean, he is, sometimes he gets 3 guys on him. Here he is right down there. Watch the left side of this offensive line. One, got by another one. There's 3. They're just kind of camping out for him. And that was their plan. They said coming into this, somebody else might beat us on that Rams defense. It will not be number 99, Aaron Donald.
16.5 sacks. Michael Strahan biting his nails every time Donald appears on the field. Wants to keep that record at 22.5. 3rd and 10 to the outside, and that is picked off at the 49-yard line. Roby Coleman with the interception with 19 seconds. So the Rams, with one timeout, will have an opportunity to at least get into field goal range.
Wow, Trubisky, That is not good. This is just a very simple zone coverage in which you drop the nickel right underneath that. Everybody's seen that a million different times, but for Nickell Robey-Coleman, what a half he's had. You want to look for a game ball early for the Rams defense. There he is.
So the Rams can pick up maybe 15 yards, can set up a field goal to take the lead going into the locker room. First things first, from the 49-yard line. And as he flagged down, it looked like nobody was ready for the snap here.
Yeah, it's illegal motion again. Everybody was moving on the Rams
illegal
offense.
Shift. Offense, number 30. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So Gurley's moving, and so is Gerald Everett, number 81. Everybody's just moving around, and if that's happening, you have to reset, and they clearly were not.
Not even ready with the snap that time. There's Zuerlein, hoping he can get a chance to make it 9-6 at the half. But right now the Rams are backed up. First and 15 with only 14 seconds.
Don't forget Sherrick McManus, 27 in the game. Let's see if they go after him here.
They can work every part of the field with that timeout in their hip pocket. And Goff will throw, and that'll be caught. 49-yard line, Gerald Everett. And they'll take their timeout here with 8 seconds. And now they'll have to work the outside with no timeouts.
You got now for the Chicago Bears defensively, obviously one strategy. Just keep it in the field of play. And there's no way they can complete a pass that doesn't get out of bounds and then get up there.
Leonard Floyd back into the game. Simply a 3-man rush. And Goff's going to go for it all. A jump on the end zone, picked off at the goal line. And that will take us to halftime, and that's Eddie Jackson having a tremendous year. 6-6 at the half. And the second half begins with the kick. Harold Cooper from the 10-yard line, guy who went to the Pro Bowl last year as a returner, taking it to the 26, and we have a flag down on the run back. Craig Rolstead is the referee.
During the return, holding. Return team number 42. It's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
To the field we go, and Michelle.
Yeah, well, the 6 points of offense in the first half, uncharacteristic for the Rams. Sean McVay telling me they have to do a better job sustaining drives, but he is really happy with the way his defense is playing. Meanwhile, Matt Nagy said Mitchell Trubisky was doing okay, but that his offense has to get back to basics. Meanwhile, cornerback Bryce Callahan is doubtful with a foot injury, Al.
Michelle, and that is big. So much a part of their defensive group. So Sherrick McManus is going to see a lot of action, number 27, in the second half. Drive begins from the 13. Gurley is going to be taken down for a loss. Back to the 3. Leonard Floyd tracking him down, and Gurley can't get on track tonight.
Yeah, they really didn't even block him. That was sort of bizarre. On the end of the line of scrimmage, you'll see that really there's no wide receiver, and the Rams use their wide receivers to block the edge as much as anybody. That was just a blown assignment, and it feels like we've seen a lot of those out of the Rams offense tonight.
Very uncharacteristic 5-yard loss. Gurley tonight, 6 carries for 6 net yards. Look out, safety. Eddie Goldman comes through the middle to plant Goff in the end zone. And the Bears take an 8-6 lead. That defense picking right up where they left off in the first half.
I think everybody in Chicago is going to be thrilled with this one. Eddie Goldman, who does so much of the dirty work inside, rarely gets credit. All the coaches love him, though, and he is the guy that comes up with the big play along with Keem Hicks on the other side. They sort of meet at the quarterback, and that is big time.
John Sullivan could not block him.
It has been one of those kinds of nights here, and in some strange way, I'm enjoying watching defense. I mean, this year has been off the charts with offense, and you come into sort of one of the homes of defense in the National Football League, and here we have this defensive battle and the defense taking the lead for the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, they were running up scores like a pinball machine in the first half of the season. Of course, you think about that Rams-Chiefs game, 54-51. Then you get this.
Everything goes, even though he punts it. You can't onside it from a punt. That's a bad kick.
No,
not now.
But it takes a good bounce for him. And then it's taken there by Cohen at the 19-yard line.
Well, here's the first half hero for the Rams on defense, Nicole Roby-Coleman. He shut down that play right away, smelled it out on the goal line. They had a chance to score, not so fast. And then the interception that gave their offense one more chance that didn't work out. But still a tremendous half by their Nicole Roby-Coleman.
Meanwhile, that Hecker kick was not a thing of beauty, but it results in a 61-yard free kick. The ball at the 19. Trubisky fires to the outside court. Robinson gets shoved out of bounds after he picks up a first down by Aqib Talib.
I was really wondering when they were going to go after Talib, because he came back off of that ankle injury last week. He'd been out basically the whole season for the better part, at least the middle chunk of it. And you could see last week in that game against Detroit that he really wasn't comfortable on the field. And yet I don't think in the first half they went after him one time. Let's see if maybe that's the shift in strategy here.
He was on a pitch count last week. They're playing the whole game tonight. On the 31-yard line. Big hole. Howard. Gain of 14 and another first down out to the 45-yard line for Chicago.
They're playing their linebackers and safeties so wide. If you get these two guys blocked and you have angles on both of them, there's just nobody left in there. It's not like somebody's missing the tackle or anything. I think I would just wear them out with that until they came out of that defense.
That rushing game, he said, it's not quite there yet, but it is tonight. 114 yards rushing, 61 passing. Fake. Pass caught. Robinson. They're on a roll here to the 41-yard line. John Johnson makes the stop.
Trubisky has been tremendous tonight when under 2.5 seconds. He is a first-read quarterback at this stage of his career. When he can throw it to the first guy he sees, he's great. The entire first half, that was when he had success. You saw it just then with the throw to Robinson off of that RPO, and there you go. So if they can stay in that mode and run the football, you start to like the Bears' chances.
3 plays on this drive, 3 first downs. On the Ram 41, Howard chugging his way to the 36-yard line. What Chris brought up, of course, is 2.5 or less. He's 9 out of 13 in the first half. 2.6 or more. 0 for 7.
Yeah, and all the interceptions, or 3 of the 4 interceptions, have come when they tried to throw the football down the field. So a very cautious approach on the back end. You're going to have to be able to win with the passing game underneath, and being able to run the ball really helps the Bears play action game.
Howard again, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2. Fowler making the tackle.
Yeah, but this is an interesting part of the field here. This is one with the way you're running the ball. Well, now they're taking Howard out of the game and bringing Cohen in, to where if you wanted to leave Howard in there and say, I'm just going to run it twice here, it would be a pretty good option.
Wade Phillips looks over his chart. You saw that sign on Matt Nagy's chart, BU.
Yeah, been him to a heck of a coach here so far in Chicago. This is a big turnaround for this franchise.
8 for the record. Cohen takes the handoff. There he goes inside the 20. Tariq Cohen to the 10-yard line. Man, oh man, is he quick. Gain of 23.
Check out Cody Whitehair, going to come the center around. Here's the angle block again, and then you loop the center around, and they are just taking them apart. I mean, there is nobody in there. And, you know, this is the sort of balance that we've seen out of the Rams offense all season. Run it, run it, run it, play action. And tonight, it's the Bears turning the tables on the Rams.
Howard back in. Fake to him, pass caught inside the 5. And Talib cannot stop him from getting into the end zone. Robinson across the goal line. It's going to be real close. Obviously, we'll take a look at it on a replay. Did he get in or not? Didn't look like it. Here it is.
78. The previous play is under review.
Yep.
There he is. He's out of bounds at about the 2-yard line, so they rule it a touchdown. Don't have to challenge because it's ruled a touchdown. Scoring play under review. They'll take it back, and we'll be back.
After review, the runner was out of bounds with the ball at the 2-yard line. It'll be second down there. Please reset the game clock to 10:25.
So clearly out before he gets into the end zone. It'll be second down and goal now from the 2-yard line. Bears up by 2 early in the 3rd. Third trip into the red zone for them. Can they get in this time? Trubisky on a roll, running out of room, fires a dart, incomplete. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Sort of interesting, isn't it, that you know, they've been running the football so effectively, and now you sort of pencil yourself in here at this point. Let's see who they've got coming in the game. It looks like.
Well, they're going to bring in a. Yeah, here comes Hicks. Here comes Bilal Nichols as well.
They got all kinds of defensive players in the game right now. Michael Brockers is in there. Hicks in the backfield at tailback, and here we go.
Akeem Hicks scored a touchdown last week. Do they give it to him again? They don't, and then Trubisky throws, and that's caught by Bradley Soule, lineman, eligible for the touchdown. That's something. They bring in half the defensive unit. They make a tackle eligible. Soule, and it's the first touchdown of the night. Crazy.
You ever been to a magic show? They make you look in 1,000 different places, and then the one guy you never think about, he declares himself eligible along with half the team on the field, so nobody pays attention to it. And Bradley Soule with the touchdown catch and the first touchdown of the game.
Parkey for the extra point. That's Soule's 97th career game. It's his first catch. As Dennis Miller might say, you couldn't keep him down forever. Touchdown Bears, it's 15-6. What a crazy play on so many levels. And Soule made a heck of a catch on top of it. 15-6, Chicago on top. Less than 10 to play in the 3rd. Coming out of the end zone, Pharaoh Cooper. And he gets stacked by Bellamy up at the 19-yard line. Back to the TD.
Well, first of all, you have to make yourself eligible if you're wearing number 79. Yeah, that's me. I'm eligible. But everybody was running on the field was doing the same thing. But here's the illusion. Got Hicks back there. Everybody knows you're going to go there. Not so fast. Right out here, you sneak out with an offensive lineman who's now a legendary receiver, and he's going to let everybody know. Pretty good dance, too. That is clever play calling right there.
Now, they couldn't have planned this celebration with that group, could they?
I don't know, but that's when you hug your head coach and play caller. You let me catch a touchdown pass, I am loving life.
So you've got for the Rams, that's Dominique Hatfield on the ground. Dominique Hatfield is being taken back to the locker room. Special teams guy, undrafted last year. Started the season on the practice squad, and show you what happened is they have his leg, left leg in a cast. Air cast taken back to the locker room. From the 18, the Rams begin this drive down by 9.
I think there's some people in New Orleans paying attention right now.
You bet, because a Rams loss would move the Saints back in to the top spot and drop the Rams to second. Off to the outside, and that's caught at the 24-yard line. Robert Woods makes the catch. Sherrick McManus with the tackle. Gain of 6. 2nd and 4.
The Rams going to pick up the pace here a little bit and see if they can get this offense going. What they have not done is establish the running game with Todd Gurley. They have not done that, and it's really hurt this offense.
Gurley 6 carries for 6 yards. Goff under pressure. The ball comes out. The ball is loose. Still loose. It was Khalil Mack who came in, and the Rams have recovered at the 20-yard line. Man. 3rd down and 8. Austin Blythe, the right guard, who eventually winds up with the ball.
Another inside move here by Mack, and it's a pretty one too. Gets right through, gets the ball out, no question about it. And that ball was on the ground unrecovered for about 5 seconds. Everybody had a chance.
There was Blythe, 66. He eventually winds up with it. 3rd down and 8. Rams going backwards on both drives here in the second half. Fires, that's caught, but short of the first down is Josh Reynolds, 2 yards shy, and Mack makes the tackle there with 8.5 to go in the 3rd, 4th down.
Now this isn't very good by Reynolds. They bring everybody on a blitz. Going to hit him right out here, and if he'd have just caught it and turned right up the field, I think he'd have had the first down. He sort of danced around, and Hicks, who was coming out from the defensive tackle position, ended up making the play. That is not very good. When you get in those blitz situations, you see those linebackers cross the line of scrimmage, catch it, and turn up the field.
Packers already had 1 fake punt tonight. Not here. Cohen is going to let it bounce. And it stays in bounds, so a good ram bounce. Finally stopped at the 13-yard line. Let's go back to this Bears touchdown. I mean, this is something you never see.
Well, the great running backs like Akeem Hicks, they know how to sell a play fake. Look at that face. I got it. Oh, that's great. I love it when the big guys get to actually touch the football. You fake it to a defensive tackle and throw it to an offensive tackle. That's beautiful football.
Look at all those crazy numbers in there, too. All the 90s and 70s. And the catch made by Soule.
The game is fun.
It's a 62-yard punt. They're trying to get out of the backfield. This is Taquan Mizell, their number 3 back, stopped at the line of scrimmage. Unique touchdowns last 2 games. Hicks, the 1-yard touchdown rush. Cohen, the 1-yard touchdown pass, and of course tonight, the capper.
Yeah, tonight the points have been scored by Cody Parkey, Bradley Soule, and Eddie Goldman. If you had them on your fantasy team, you're a really bad fantasy player. There's no way. And I'm sure there are some people who have all kinds of Rams players on their fantasy team that are just going, what the heck?
You had them as a trifecta. It's about 500,000 to 1. You know, the play fake here. The pass is caught on the outside. Cohen. And he runs into a brick wall at the 18-yard line. Aaron Donald the time put the pressure on. And it will be 3rd down and short.
It's pretty amazing to watch, isn't he? To just catch the ball so elusive. 5, 6, or 7, and just out there, he almost disappears sometimes behind that wall of blockers in front of him, but he is a magical guy. We've seen him doing backflips and catching the football. He was sort of a YouTube sensation before he became a superstar in the NFL.
Another one of those human joysticks. 3rd and 2. Good protection. Trubisky fires, caught. And that's another first down. Tariq Cohen. This guy could win a gold medal in gymnastics. Look at this.
We debated for 5 minutes whether or not that was some kind of trick photography or not. I mean, look how far apart his arms were spread. Just to catch one of those balls without a flip was pretty amazing. That one, as you would say, Al, you and your social media friends went viral.
Yes, it did. And Trubisky, too, right? He's also social media. Ooh, Allen Robinson. It's banged down by Marcus Peters as he makes the catch. 2nd and 11.
It was interesting talking with Wade Phillips a little bit about Marcus Peters, and he said, you know, we got him, and I kind of knew what he could do, and we put him in some really tough situations, man-to-man coverage against their best receiver. Talib was out, and then we found out what he really does great is look at the quarterback. He plays his own defense, looks at the quarterback, and comes up with interceptions like we saw in this game.
2nd and 10. The whistle here. Ndamukong Suh came across the line. Was he induced?
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
He was not. So Ndamukong Suh, you know, he's been around through the years. Made a lot of headlines for various reasons. Detroit, Miami, and then the Rams picked him up in the offseason. He's in his 9th year in the league.
Yeah, and he and Aaron Donald 2nd and 4th on most snaps. So those guys really don't come off the field very often at all.
Makes it a 2nd down and 5. Good protection. Trubisky fires too high. Intended for Robinson. Crowd wants a flag. Might not have been catchable anyway. Peters with the coverage. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, there was definitely some hand fighting going on, Terry.
It was ruled uncatchable. You see an official downfield giving the uncatchable signal.
Yeah, it was uncatchable because he couldn't jump because he had his hands in his chest.
There it is.
I used to hate that call. They used to come over and go, oh, it's uncatchable. Yeah, if he wasn't fouling me, it wouldn't be uncatchable.
Generally, it should be blatantly uncatchable before they rule that.
All right. I'm just getting some things off my chest.
Yes, 3rd and 5. Took a lot of years, and that pass is incomplete. And now you got a flag coming in late. It's Nickel Roby-Coleman saying, not me,
Pass
Sheriff.
interference. Defense, number 23. The ball will be placed on the spot of the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
Well, that's a shame for Roby-Coleman. He was in perfect position. He's going to jump inside and just sort of set a wall, and he really did not have to get his hands on him. I mean, he really, if anything, that should have been an interception and possible pick 6, but that was a big break right there for the Chicago Bears to keep that drive alive.
Take 4 down. 2-6.
Bears have owned the time of possession tonight, almost 26 minutes to 14. Done 50 plays to the Rams 32. Play number 51. It's a 2-yard gain for Jordan Howard through the middle. Check on the division leaders again. Rams come in at 11-1. Saints 11-2. Bears, and then the Cowboys, the red-hot Cowboys. So the Saints, of course, would be the #1 seed if the Rams lose tonight, at least heading down the stretch.
And you just get the feeling that if somehow these playoffs run all the way through New Orleans, I don't know who's beating that team in that stadium. I just don't. I've been in there. I've played in there before. It is tough, and this is a good team in that dome.
2nd and 7, and that's intercepted at the 40-yard line. Overthrow. John Johnson to run it back, and a good run back all the way down to the Chicago 26-yard line. Trubisky's 3rd pick of the night. That one intended for the tight end, Trey Burton.
There have just been a ton of missed throws tonight by these talented. This is the oldest play. Everybody with a single safety, you just run past them. Everybody in the NFL runs this play, right? And it's easy. You just drop it right in there. But he dropped it way over the top, and almost all of the bad plays tonight by Trubisky have been overthrows. I don't know if it's his shoulder. I don't know what the issue is, but he has missed high and long tonight.
Johnson's 4th interception. most on the Rams. They came into the game with only 11 picks all year. They have 3 tonight. And the Rams in business at the Chicago 26-yard line. Goff has time, fires, and that one is picked off. Kyle Fuller. Sixth interception of the game. And that ties Fuller for the league lead in pick. From the 19-yard line, this was Jordan Howard after the interception, picking up 9.
Well, one thing we know about young quarterbacks is they tend to stare down the target a little bit, and you'll see it here out of Goff. Fuller was looking back at him the whole way and got a pretty good jump on this one. And you have to be happy for the year that Fuller is having. The last 2 years, he's had 8 interception opportunities. Last year, he caught 2 of them. This year, he's caught 7 of them. The only one he dropped was the one against Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay game where they could have won that game too.
That would have cemented the game. Meanwhile, you got Ethan Westbrooks coming across the line. It's the night Rodgers got hurt in Green Bay.
Encroachment, defense, number 95. It's a 5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
One more look as we go back to check out Goff on that throw.
Let's take a look and see if Hicks gets a little noggin shot. Yeah, sure does. Well, it's amazing. It's like this is like a golf swing. Huh? You start to get hot and you catch them, and get cold and you miss them.
How would you know? From the 32-yard line. Going to the outside, shoved out of bounds into the Bears bench by Mark Barron. You know, we'll be in LA next week at the Coliseum, Philadelphia against the Rams. I love when people say, well, you know, can LA support a football team, 2 football teams as it is right now? Southern California in 1958 was about half as populous as it is right now. You could put 100,470 people into the stadium. Before that year was done, they put another 100,000 in against Baltimore and Johnny Unitas.
And they have 2 good teams right now in Los Angeles. We had a chance to see the Chargers beat the Steelers last week.
Chargers won again today, beat Cincinnati. Solid shape to get to the playoffs. As are the Rams, but they're looking for that top seed as Howard takes it to the 36-yard line. Trubisky retreats and steps up, gets hit but gets away, and he'll go down at the 38-yard line. Ndamukong Suh was there. That'll make it 4th down.
I tell you, we talked so much about this Bears defense tonight, but the Rams, despite many mistakes and really poor play on the part of their offense tonight, maybe it's more dominant defense on the part of the Bears, but they have hung in there. They have kept this team alive and keep giving the offense opportunities that they have done nothing with tonight.
Patrick O'Donnell, the punter. His 3rd kick. JoJo Natson stands back at the 15-yard line. Natson's going to let it go. It's a good Chicago bounce to the 5. With 32 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. The Rams, I mean, in almost 3 quarters tonight, have 93 total yards. 93. Compared to the average of 440. 35 points per game, 6 tonight thus far. And 3 turnovers tonight, all on picks.
I used to play at the University of Florida. I can remember going into the cold weather. It was like 32 degrees, and I thought I was going to die. And right now, the Rams are acting like they hate the cold as well. They have not been effective throwing it.
Play fake. It's caught and close to a first down. Tyler Higbee. You wonder how much you can blame the weather. I mean, it is cold. It's 26 degrees, but there is no wind at all.
No, it's really a perfect night, no matter how you want to put it. But the story of this game that I don't know if we've said it enough is that Todd Gurley hasn't gotten anything going whatsoever. I mean, nothing. And this offense is based on balance. It's based on running, play action. When he doesn't get going, this offense doesn't get going.
Into 3, Chicago 15, the Rams 6. Sunday Night Football back after these messages. Chris talking about Todd Gurley, stymied tonight. Last year, led the league in scrimmage yards, and 19 touchdowns was the most. This year, leads the league in scrimmage yards, leads the league in total touchdowns. The only guys to do it in consecutive seasons, 2 of the all-time greats, Don Hutson of Green Bay, Jimmy Brown of Cleveland. But tonight, next to nothing. Second in inches. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoya start the 4th quarter at Soldier Field in Chicago. And they give it to Gurley.
There it is.
Well, yeah, it's
the story of the game.
Right. Picks up a yard here. Needed it. Picks up 2, in fact, officially. First down.
Basically daring them to run the football right now because they have gone to that reduced inside presence. And the reason they can do that is they've been so stout tonight on the outside. You see Leonard Floyd and Khalil Mack just set the wall, set that edge outside. They have not been able to get that outside zone working, period.
First Rams first down in the second half. They have 7 in the game. Fake to Gurley. And then Goff flings it incomplete. Danny Trevathan came in that time from his linebacker spot. 2nd and 10.
Now these are all the plays that work great whenever you're making the run work. But right now, they're not fooling anybody with play action. Sure, go ahead, go play action. You can run it all you want. We've got everything covered. They are basically now sort of scoffing at the idea that the Rams are going to run the football.
Rams came in averaging 6.7 yards per play tonight, 2.8. Play clock at 1. Finally, Gurley breaks one to the 29-yard line. Gets more on that run than he had all night long. First down.
You know, you will see the Rams in so many of those tight bunch formations, and they use their wide receivers a lot to block inside. That's the first time they've gotten somebody down inside. It was Gerald Everett with a good block inside, finally getting to those inside linebackers.
12-yard run.
You can see the tightly bunched formation. Nobody outside the numbers. They do that more than any team in the NFL.
Gurley again in some room. Takes it out to the 34-yard line. Stopped by Roquan Smith, gain of 6. 2nd and 4.
Now they've changed. Now they've moved to that inside zone play where they're basically saying, all right, we've seen enough of Floyd and enough of Mack. Let's now bring the tight end across and try and bend it back against the grain.
Into the line in a hurry, but a little bit of a walk around. Tight formation. And on 2nd and 4. Goff under pressure, wobbly pass, incomplete, and again the heat put on, that time by Sherrick McManus, taking the spot of the injured Bryce Callahan coming in from the corner.
They have dialed it up tonight, and here we go with the communication. Until that thing hits 15, McVay can talk all he wants to his quarterback. And now it's going to shut down. So now the communication starts for Jared Goff on the field. And boy, does he ever need a big-time play right now.
Right here, 3rd and 4. Goff fires, and that is a great catch at the 42. Gerald Everett, a lot of traffic to move the chains.
Yeah, that was a good route. They're finally starting to take advantage a little bit of the aggressiveness of this Bears defense. One of those little return routes, you know, we see all the time, out and then back in for the first down. I think they're going to stay with Gurley here. They've got plenty of time, but they need to reestablish who they are on offense.
And they carried 9 times tonight. Send Gurley out to the flat. Goff throws, and that is incomplete. No possession. Everett, the intended receiver. Leonard Floyd pops him 2nd and 10.
You know, Leonard Floyd early in the year had that broken hand. Remember the big cast he had on it, and his numbers were terrible. And he is a high draft pick and a really talented guy. But you have seen now in the second half of the season, I want to say he had like 4 pressures in the first half of the season. In the second half, like 24-25. So now they have that double-edge pressure coming, and it's a big reason why you've been able to see Hicks be so effective and Mack.
First rounder out of Georgia in 16. He was the overall number 9 pick in the draft. 2nd and 10. Goff checks it down. Gurley gets away, breaks the tackle, and Todd Gurley picks up the first down at midfield. Got away from Leonard Floyd that time, and it is Floyd for the second time tonight down on the turf and hobbling off. So Floyd comes to the bench. The Rams are already up at the line of scrimmage at the Bear 46-yard line.
Yeah, people forget just how big Todd Gurley is. He's 225 pounds.
Fires, and that's caught. Crossing route. Robert Woods inside the 30, inside the 20, and shoved out by Eddie Jackson all the way down at the 17-yard line.
Well, for Robert Woods, over 1,000 yards for him out of USC, and he is happy to be home out there working against Mack. Just a simple crossing route, getting in space inside, and he has some special hands, and he has made a big difference here without Cooper Kupp.
10 plays on this drive so far, 3 runs, 7 passes. They've gone 78 yards, started back at their own 5. And now Goff is going to take a timeout.
First charge team out, Los Angeles.
So 11:07 remaining in the 4th. With the Bears on top by 9. You look ahead for these teams. Chicago would love to stay a game and a half in front of Minnesota, because that would mean by week 17, when they have to go to Minneapolis, they would have clinched it. Schedules remaining. Rams next week against the Eagles. That's our game on Sunday night. At Arizona, and then against San Francisco to wrap it up. Chicago plays Green Bay next week. It's their final home game. Then they go to San Francisco. And as we say, week 17 at Minnesota.
Yeah, you don't want to have to beat Green Bay or Minnesota to wrap it up.
Green Bay winning today under Joe Philbin, beating Atlanta. Now you got movement on the left side. That's Andrew Whitworth, second penalty against him tonight.
Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, you know, when you used to run against the fastest kid in the school and you wanted to get out a little faster out of the blocks, that's what happens when you're going against Khalil Mack on the outside.
First and 15 from the 22. Goff over the middle. Oh boy, incomplete. Brandon Cooks, the intended receiver, and 3 Bears are right there. Second down and 15.
Yeah, I'm going to say that time I think Jared Goff was right and Brandon Cooks was wrong. They're playing a simple zone defense, and usually you want your receiver to sit down, so you have somebody here, and then you want that guy to sit when he sees the zone defense. It's up to the wide receiver to read that coverage, just like the quarterback does.
Miscommunication sets up a second down, 15. Gurley comes in motion, and the Rams call a timeout. So the Rams have just taken their second time out. Only one left, called from the sideline. Here's McVay, obviously not liking the way they were lined up.
I'm not so sure they didn't have a little something working on this play. They had a lot of shifts, a lot of motions, and if you had a sort of secret weapon play, that might have been the time to see it, and it just never quite got underway.
But what could be, I mean, he had to take it in his mind, but it leaves you with one timeout down the stretch, and you're down by 9, plus the 2-minute warning.
Plenty of time for the Rams here. You'd like to think they'll at least get out of here with a field goal on this one to cut it to a 1-score game.
So the Rams took 2 timeouts within 3 seconds on the clock. 2nd down and 15. Gurley, great tackle, knifing through his Danny Trevathan to knock him down to the line of scrimmage.
Trevathan, Sherrick McManus, they were all there out there, and let's give McManus some credit. We were thinking maybe he wouldn't be able to hold up out there the way Callahan did, but I tell you, stopping that outside zone, you stop that, you stop the Rams.
And McManus getting there. Mack wants the crowd at full throat. They comply. 3rd and 15. Goff throws low, intended for Gurley and incomplete. And again, almost no clean pockets tonight for Goff. Everything is under pressure. 4th down, in comes the field goal group.
Well, Al, they are so good, and I feel like a broken record when they can go to their play action game. Goff, though, is still a young quarterback, and he's not used to seeing a lot of pressure in his face. They do that play action, they drop back. A lot of times he's standing there 2, 3, 4 seconds with enough time to throw. Hasn't been the case tonight.
40-yard attempt for Zuerlein. Johnny Hekker is the holder. And that kick is off the upright.
Those uprights are going to fall down in this stadium.
Crowd knows what that's all about. This one works in their favor. Stays a 9-point game. Doink. Chicago, Illinois on this Sunday night. Bears on top 15-6. A little over 10 minutes to play. After the field goal hits the upright, the Bears will start from the 30 after a penalty.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
The guard, Witzman.
Now let's go back to that hold on the missed field goal. The laces, always a little bit of a thing, and he turned it the wrong way. I don't know why he spun it back that way. But sometimes, I just tell you, I used to hold a little bit.
Hey, 4 down here.
Kickers hate that.
Hey, 2, 3.
Ah, look at that. Hekker says my fault. Meanwhile, on the 1st and 15, Jordan Howard will pick up 21 yards. Roby Coleman stops him along with Joyner. 1st down.
I mean, this has just not been. Watch all the blocks here. Everybody is on somebody, and they really don't have that sort of downhill playing linebacker. Mark Barron, Corey Littleton, those are guys put in there to really stop the passing game because they're used to being in shootouts. This is no shootout here tonight.
184 ground yards tonight. Season high for Chicago. The 49 goes Howard. 2nd down and 6 from the midfield strike. Cohen starts to slip, but does maintain his balance. Gets back to the 47-yard line. Still a loss there, 3 yards overall. 3rd down and 9 upcoming.
You know, Al, you can talk about all the rule changes and the advantages for the receivers and the quarterback, and you can't hit them high and you can't hit them low and you can't hit them in the helmet. and all that kind of stuff. But tonight, it has been not about the quarterbacks. Tonight, the quarterbacks have not helped their respective teams. It has been about the brilliant play of Vic Fangio's Chicago Bears defense.
Absolutely. Not too many games where you see 6 interceptions, 3 for each quarterback. On a draw with Cohn, and Tariq takes it to the 50-yard line. It's 4th down, so the Rams will get the ball back.
And sort of the non-believers in this stadium were uncomfortable with that call, right? And there are a lot of teams that you would not call that draw play, but the way your defense is playing out there tonight, you say, all right, I'm going to give them a long field here, and they burn those 2 timeouts on a drive in which they got no points. I feel like the advantage has swung in our favor, and I'll let the defense do the job.
That is a perfect summation. The Rams just ran a 74-yard, 14-play drive, used those 2 timeouts.
Offense, number 84, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And came up with nothing. Ben Braunecker, not the worst thing in the world. When you're ready to punt, you get a 5-yard penalty from midfield.
I'm not sure you want to leave one hanging in the middle of the field here, though. If there was ever a coffin corner attempt, it might be right now. You don't want one of those Rams special teams plays that they can come up with to knock you out.
Leading that play clock here. Ticks down under 7 minutes. Snap it at 1. Nance is going to call for and make a fair catch at the 18-yard line. 6:44 left in regulation. 15-6 Chicago. From the 18-yard line, Gurley.
All night.
2-yard gain all night long. That's Leonard Floyd, who's been on and off the field, limping off, coming back on, right there for the stop.
Yeah, and I tell you, these linebackers are growing up right before our eyes. Danny Trevathan and Roquan Smith inside have become quite the tandem. And this team, you know, you talk about in that defense, you have to fill those gaps. And they've been brilliant tonight. There have not been, I can remember one play in which Gurley broke out, but this has been a really disciplined game on the part of this defense. Vic Fangio is going to be happy with what he's seeing.
Very. 2nd down and 8. That's caught, but shy of the 1st down. Caught there by Gerald Everett's going to be 3rd down and 1. You know, Nagy came in, and he didn't have a defensive coordinator, and I got a Ram who is down here. That's Saffold, Roger Saffold, the left guard.
That is not good. And the Rams, the one thing they have had over the last 2 years is continuity in that offensive line. I started to tell that story with John Sullivan, then he came back in. But Roger Saffold is the power player on this offensive line. Whenever they want to go to double teams or whatever, he's the guy they use. Let's take a look at what happened. He got stepped on. Looked like John Sullivan's the one that stepped on him.
Rams only 2 backup linemen. We've already seen one tonight, Brian Allen. The other's a rookie as well, Joseph Noteboom, and there he is, rookie out of TCU, who was their 3rd round pick.
You know, Al, overall, you have to say this is a pretty thin team. I mean, you go talk about the receivers. They lose Cooper Kupp. And so they play the 3 guys, Reynolds and Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods. But then after that, really, it's Kaderil Hodge who would end up coming in, who has 2 catches on the year. Offensive line is thin. Running back is thin without Malcolm Brown now.
Yep. Pay a lot of money to their stars, which leaves a little less for your reserves. 3rd down and inches. Clock running, 5.5 to go in regulation. Off the fake, off the run. First time tonight he has taken off. Slides to a halt at the 33 with a 1st down.
Yeah, they're going to a little bit of play action stuff. The One thing we have not seen tonight is all the jet motion, a little bit of it there on that one. But that has been such a big part of their offense. I don't know why they haven't used it tonight.
Yeah, they use a lot of window dressing, but not in tonight's game. And that pass along the sideline is juggled and bobbled and incomplete. Carl Johnson comes in to say Josh Reynolds did not have control of it. Second down.
Yeah, that's too bad there. That was a gimme. And just can't hang on to it. Of course, Josh Reynolds got a chance to play because of the injury to Cooper Kupp. And then Robert Woods took Kupp's place playing in the slot and has done fantastic this year. And Reynolds has been a brilliant blocker inside, as has Robert Woods. But so far tonight, I haven't seen those kind of plays.
2nd and 10. Fires, that is caught. Stopped at the 39-yard line. That's Woods tackled by Amukamara. And up comes a 3rd down, 3rd and 4.
Yeah, 4 down territory here because of those 2 lost timeouts.
Fires, incomplete. Pass intended there for Everett. Eddie Jackson with the coverage, and as you say, Chris, you get down to that 1 timeout plus a 2-minute warning. It is 4 down territory, and they'll go for it.
Yeah, I don't think you have a choice here at this point. And now the crowd is going to go crazy. They are sensing the Bears are about to be back in this defense, and they are pumped.
4th and 4. Goff sacked. Man, that's an exclamation point if ever you've seen one. 4th and 4. Can't get the first, can't get it out of his hands. It's Akiem Hicks. Boy, it's shades of 85, at least for one night. Well, they're dancing like it's 1985. The Ditka impersonator, Matt Nagy, close to his 9th victory in 13 games. Akiem Hicks. Man, I mean, you know, Matt gets so much of the attention, you tend to forget about Hicks. It's tough to these days.
Thanks for playing on offense.
Right, Howard to the 23.
Well, they tried to run a little pick play on 4th down, but Roquan Smith sat right in the middle of the field, and you'll see the receiver who they were trying to get the ball to coming right in. That's Everett. When he wasn't there, Goff really had nowhere else to go. And there's the cleanup from Hicks, who is one fun-loving guy who is enjoying life right now, scoring touchdowns, getting sacks, doing dancing, and making quarterbacks wince.
Milking the clock all the way down. Snap it at 1. Howard stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Hey, 5-8. No, 2-6.
Howard to the 20-yard line. He goes. Aaron Donald coming into the game with those 16.5 sacks, all in his last 9 games, but barely called his name tonight.
Yeah, we just have to mention a few guys' names, right? And I think James Daniels, I asked which of their interior 3 offensive linemen would be in the best position to try and handle somebody like Aaron Donald, and they said James Daniels. And yes, he's gotten double team help, and yes, they've done that, but because Donald plays that 3 technique, they can kind of dictate where he would line up, and they chose Daniels in this game, and he was certainly good enough here tonight.
Timeout Chicago as they get set for the field goal attempt. And we go to Michelle.
Well, James Daniels told me the plan for blocking Aaron Donald tonight was to use fundamentals and technique on every single play. He told me if you don't use your technique, you have no chance of blocking him. He said before every snap, I have to listen to the play call, look at Donald's alignment, and do what I have to do. It sounds easy, but it requires focus, and he practiced that focus all week, Al.
Man, and manifested it tonight as Cody Parkey comes in. Try to make it a 12-point game, 38-yard attempt. Parkey, oh no. No good. Looked like it was going to hit the upright.
At least he didn't doink it.
Right.
That may be the first one he's missed that hasn't hit an upright.
Right, a clear miss.
A clear miss.
So the Rams get it down by 9, but no timeouts left for L.A.
Let's take a look. S&M kicks.
Out of bounds.
I love that thing. Golf's had it for years. And that's when you go, need a new piece of gum.
Rams low in points this year in a game 23. Been held to 179 yards, 33 on the ground. Goff runs for his life, backhand flip. Eddie Goldman put the heat on that time. Goldman, who had that safety earlier in the game. 2nd down and 10.
What the heck is going on up front with the Rams? They don't even block Eddie Goldman on the play. Check it out. They're going to split and divide. Saffold goes one way, the center the other, and Goff's running for his life.
Saffold, who got hurt back in the game, that's the only bit of good news to the Rams lately. 2nd and 10. Goff fires. That's caught. And out of bounds at the 44 goes Josh Reynolds with 2:34. And you brought it up before. This Vic Fangio, what a job. Started to talk about when Nagy took over, didn't have a defensive coordinator. Fangio had been on John Fox's staff. Pretty good move to keep him. Goff fires into traffic and incomplete. Wood says, where's the flag? Officials say, nope, nope. Eddie Jackson with the coverage. 2nd down.
It's been some year for Eddie Jackson, hasn't it? I mean, he has just been remarkable since 5 touchdowns in the NFL, 8 total in the last 4 years playing at Alabama and here. And he has just been phenomenal, not just in coverage where he can play man coverage like a corner can, but back deep and being a bit of an enforcer like you just saw there.
The Bear defense, 3 picks tonight, 24 for the season. Tops in the league. Backpedals, throws, and that's dropped. Man, oh man, it's been that kind of a night for the Rams.
You know, they can really do so many things with this Bears defense because of the speed they have at linebacker. So either one of those guys, Roquan Smith, who can fly, and Danny Trevathan, who can fly, they're not afraid of Todd Gurley in coverage or anybody else. Those 2 speedsters inside cover up for a lot of things that happen and let those pass rushers cut loose.
On 3rd and 10, Goff, a deep retreat, fires, knocked away. Brandon Cooks, intended receiver, and there is the Eddie Jackson we were just talking about. 4th down.
Yeah, Eddie Jackson has some guts. Now you're talking about speed receivers. Watch him level off and work this way. If this is one of those moves, maybe he gives up one, but through film study and everything else, those are calculated risks, and a lot of times he lands it in the end zone for his defense.
In effect, they can end it right here with a stop on a 4th and 10. Goff, can the Rams stay alive? They can. Another interception. Mukamara this time. 4 picks. McManus came blitzing in. Bear defense. One for the books tonight.
Well, one of those nights to forget for Jared Goff. This is a pretty simple zone defense sitting on the outside of that play, and there was simply nowhere to go. There were 4 receivers on that play. That would have been the last one I threw it to. He was completely blanketed. Oh, what a night, though. You know, sometimes when great franchises have been down, as the Bears have been here, to see them come back and to get back into the heart of the matter now with this playoff race, this place is going nuts.
Well, only the 2-minute warning can stop the clock here. And the Bears can start the victory celebration as Howard gets taken down. And we go to the 2-minute warning on one whale of a night in this toddling town. 15-6 Bears. So the victory formation here. By the way, you know what's happened silently tonight? Jordan Howard's gained 100 yards.
It wasn't too silent. I mean, he broke off some big ones, didn't he? It was impressive.
Meanwhile, Nagy's going to join this club. Hallis, Ralph Jones, and Patty Driscoll, head coaches with a winning record in their first season with the Chicago Bears. Of course, George Hallis founding the team. His first year as the coach was 1920, and we talked about these 2 bright young coaches. One of them will be 11-2 after the game, and the man you just saw will be 9-4.
You realize they can't run the clock all the way down, so they're still going to have to punt this football.
Not sure that's a good thing for the Rams tonight.
Well,
this is kind of, it's stunning in a way. I mean, you come in here and the whole thing is, could the Bears score enough points to beat the Rams? Well, all they needed actually was 7.
Well, and you think about how important that safety was.
Yes.
Because that really took it out of being a 1-score game, and the pressure that would have been on this Bears defensive team would have been even greater, but I'm not sure they would have buckled underneath it. It is amazing. And for the Bears, you know, they're going to 9-0 now, holding opponents under 24 points, 0-4 when they score more than 24. So they call it the Mendoza line or something like that. Whatever it is in football, that's what it is for this Bears team.
About 200 or better. Meanwhile, the Bears, you look at their defense, 25 interceptions this season, 4 tonight. Over the last 3 years combined, total 24 picks. So they'll punt here. O'Donnell. Georgia Nixon is back for the Rams. Nice pull for a half a fair catch. And the Bears will down the ball inside the 2-yard line.
Of course.
So Chris, at the beginning of the show tonight, one of the things you said was we're going to find out if the Bears are for real. So
yeah, well, you know, the question was, okay, we know this defense has been really good this year, but can they stop an offense like this? And the answer has been yes, just like we saw the Dallas Cowboys do. And oh, by the way, let's give Jerry Jones a little credit. You want to?
Sure.
They go out and sign Amari Cooper when they look like they are dead in the water. Cooper today, 10 for 217 yards, 3 touchdowns. They've been all over him during the course when he's not a good general manager. He got it done with a big move, but Amari Cooper put on a show today.
Yeah, well, that's Justin Davis, second-year guy out of USC. He's the backup now that Malcolm Brown is hurt. Not a bad run for him. 19 yards, but that will do it. The Chicago Bears face the team with the best record in the league and beat them by a score of 15-6.